So, this episode, I think, is gonna be again about the 12 Rules of Life by Jordan B. Peterson on the alanchang.com website. And if you're interested in either the video version of that or the audio version of this whole podcast, then just go to the either podcast in the podcast description or into the YouTube description and choose quite, the opposite one. With that being said, let's start. So, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm very fucking pumped to be here again and again to just do the podcast with you. I'm very fucking pumped. I'm just enormously pumped for that. And yeah, as you might can see in the background, I guess we have stopped with rule number 5. So we have finished rule number 1 to 4. And 5 is the next one. I guess. I just think it is. Actually gonna do it like this so that you not see the advertising on my fucking phone. Is this working? I guess it's working because I changed somehow a little bit the settings. Maybe the quality, especially for the YouTube version, is a little bit better. The problem there is the files that I'm just, making now are definitely bigger. And they're still, you just have to think about, okay, half an hour of video is just not really small, you just have to think about it. It's just very big, and I'm very happy that my Wi-Fi is quite strong, and or my internet in general is quite strong, so that I'm even capable of doing these videos without actually having such a worse quality. But yeah, just have a straight back, sit right and great and whatsoever, so that I'm more, confident, or speak more confident, or feel more confident, or even though it's not about confidence here. But yeah, so rule number 5 is, am I just rightly lit up? Let me get a light, just really quick. My go-to light for the episodes. Just place it there. Yeah. I guess. Is it doing some job? Okay. Oh, this side is the wrong. This side is the bad one. So, let's do it like this. Yeah, make it a little bit smaller, I guess. Just a little tiny. Can I? No, I can't. Yeah, nevertheless. So, children aren't born fully formed, which totally makes sense, because they just have to evolve, they just have to learn a lot of things, and whatsoever. And this is partly a biological compromise with head size. Too big of a head wouldn't fit through a woman's birth canal. And this is also partly because much of human culture isn't written in our genes. Culture has developed faster than biological evolutionary cycles. And this also makes sense, It really depends on where you're living. So it depends on where you're living to really just get the person you are quite. And I really feel it. I really can see it. And I do not know where. I think it actually was a comment somewhere on an Instagram post, but not mine, I guess. I don't know, but somewhere just a guy wrote down, I think it was a guy, I'm very sorry if not, or just a person. Let's say a person. A person just wrote down in the comments that in his culture, in his society, or in his just area, it is totally normal to just show your wealth and show that you're rich and whatsoever. And I totally feel like this is complete bullshit. I really don't like to show off, and I really don't just suggest to people that they should show off, because it doesn't make any sense. You're just losing a lot of money, and you're just, purchasing a lot of things so that you look rich. Maybe you are a little rich, but, you could just use the money for something that's way better, like for your business and whatsoever. But in some societies, in some cultures, it is totally normal, and you basically also have to do it. Just quote unquote have to do it. You never ever have to do some things, but it's like what it is. There. What the fucking hell? Can you hear the music? This is typical Austrian, I'd say. You know, they're just, they're just. I'm having a window there, just next to my right side or the left side for you here, and there are some musicians with just the traditional Austrian clothing. I guess it is traditional. I don't even know if it's traditional for our country or for just the German-speaking countries, but they're just running around there quite. Or is it a march? Is there something like a march? You know, like you walk the same steps and everybody's playing music. Fucking hell. But I hope it's not too disturbing for you. It's just really loud. You know, you have to think like, okay, if I'm able to hear it and it's quite like 20, 30 meters away and I'm even having closed windows, it just has to be fucking loud for them. So, but yeah. This means children need training and feedback to understand how to navigate the social world. If you're a typical parent, your goal is likely to help your children become well-liked, functioning, and members of society. Children, curious and exploratory, yes, as they are, constantly test limits to figure out where the boundaries are. Furthermore, while it's tempting to think of them as cherubic angels, I think it's cherubic, I don't fucking know. They have capacity for evil or evil. Is it evil or evil? I think it's evil inside them. I think it's totally normal. I guess every single person has some evil side in themselves. I guess it's just nature, you know. I guess it's like, you know, our brain just wants us to survive, you know, with everything it got, you know. And sometimes I think you even have to kill to just survive. Just back in the early days. Nowadays it's not like, you know, your brain just has the function of letting you survive. To some degree, yes, you know, it definitely depends on where you're living, but some years ago or a few years ago or just a lot of years ago actually, it was more like, okay, your brain just has to let you survive through killing, through being evil, through doing shit that nobody wants to do right now or today or nowadays, and so on. They have capacity for evil inside them. They will not bloom into perfection if left to their own devices. So if they hit you or yell in supermarkets and you don't provide corrective feedback, they will think it's okay and misinterpret the boundaries of society. Many parents, in an effort to avoid damaging their children or wanting to be their children's friend, swing the other way and in fact outsource training to society. The problem is that society doesn't care about your children nearly as much as you do. If you dislike your child at times, imagine how other people will react. Other people will swiftly judge and punish your child mercilessly with nowhere near the tolerance and patience that you show your children. In school, other children will reject the temperamental, unsociable child. Teachers will run out of patience and focus attention on more pleasant children, causing learning differences. Parents will refuse her presence at their playtimes. If these habits persist into adulthood, employers will fire them, relationship partners will reject them, and so on. So I think you can definitely see that, you know, if you're not parenting your child in a I think, even though it's pretty hard to say in which way, but I'm just gonna say now in a right way and in a good way, so that it is functioning and that it is also just not also intelligent, but it also has emotional intelligence, which is, at my point of view, very, very important to just being able to just speak to people, knowing how to speak with people, how to show respect, and not the right kind of respect, not like just, you have to look people in the eyes when you're just shaking their hands, or you just have to do this and that and whatsoever. It is complex though, because, you know, if society says you do just have to say hi, you know, no matter whom you're just bumping into, and you're not doing this, and you're just immediately getting just an asshole in the mind of the society, then it's bad. Even though you think, that has nothing to do with respect or with being nice or whatsoever, it is what society is. And I guess sometimes you even have to, you could change the society. Like, you could just move out and move to a foreign country and whatsoever. This would be this would be working, but I don't know to which degree. But yes, all this sets off a vicious cycle of chronic maladjustment. A maladjusted child will act poorly. She will receive negative feedback, or he will receive negative feedback from the world, often without understanding why. She will withdraw and feel rejected, causing anxiety, depression, and resentment. This further receives negative feedback from the world. This can last for a lifetime. Shielding your child from corrective feedback is in effect crippling them in the long run. And early exposure matters. A child not taught to not to behave properly by age 4 will have lasting social difficulties. As a parent, your purpose is to serve as a proxy for society. You teach a child what is acceptable and what isn't. This should be done with both rewards and punishment. Leaving one out, most parents omit punishment, removes a tool from your toolbox. Punishments and negative emotions are natural. Evolved reactions to events, sadness and shame train people to avoid the situations that led to those painful emotions. Even though I do just have to say, it's not always just nice to use these negative emotions. I do just understand what they're saying, that these are normal and natural and they really show you something. But I guess if you're doing this in a just really fucked up way and not in a good or just maybe smart way, you could also totally fuck your child, If it just learns or associates pain with something that's completely not about pain or which shouldn't give you any pain, then it is fucked up. Because it will never ever do this. Because there inside these children, there is the pain. The pain correlated to something that's not painful at all. And for most of the people. So I guess you could fuck this up as well. I think it's very complicated. I have very great respect for parents that actually parented their children very well, because they've done an amazingly good job for so many years. You just have to think about it. You do just really have to parent a child for decades, maybe. Maybe until they are 20 or until they are just 70, 18, 19, and whatever. It's quite a lot of work. It really is. As I'm just thinking about it, and it's really a lot. It's really a lot. Also, a good reward program requires continuous vigilance or vigilance, since the behavior needs to be reinforced quickly with the rewards. Think not about having your child avoid all pain, but rather to maximize their learning at minimal cost. In 12 Rules of Life, Peterson has 4 principles for raising kids. Set the rules, but not too many. Some suggestions: don't bite, kick or hit, don't torture and bully other children, eat in a civilized way so other people are pleased to have you, learn to share so other kids will play with you, pay attention when spoken to by adults so they will feel eager to teach you, be good company so that you're invited to fun. And I think you can totally see that it is definitely about emotional intelligence there. It is not quite about, okay, be respectful or some shit like this. Just be a nice person. Be a person people will and want to be around with. Try to learn through just the things elderly people tell you. It makes sense for me. It totally makes sense. Okay, don't bite and kick and whatsoever. This makes sense. Very nice, very nice. Use the minimum necessary force. Start with a glare, then verbal admonishments, then a timeout upward until they get their point. Physical punishment may be necessary depending on the child. I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's pretty tough to say that. It definitely is, because I guess it's not really necessary. Like, you can just use verbal and, emotional things. You do not just really have to get physically active against your child somehow. I guess if you just really know your child and really know what's fucking them up, you could, I don't know, you could give them so many timeouts that they won't do this fucking shit again. But yeah, a patient adult can defeat a 2-year-old because time lasts forever when you're 2. When they comply, give them a reward like a pat on the head. Or like something more, It really then also, at least at my point of view, depends on how old the child is. I don't think like, if somebody, even though, if somebody is patting me and telling me, okay, you did this well, just in a really, in a great way. I do just have to say, if you're being like, okay, you did this great, and, did this right, this was okay how you did this. This is not something rewarding, I guess. This is just something someone tells you. But if they do not put emotions into what they are saying, it's just meaningless for a lot of people. And I would also say, which is incredibly important for me, do not only point out the negative shit. At my point of view, parents really like to just point out mistakes and things you did wrongly, just way more than praising what you did great. And this is, I guess, what you should not do. I think it should totally be balanced. I quite understand. I really understand that our brain is so wired that we actually see the negative things way better or way stronger than the positive ones. But don't do this. Something I've experienced totally. And it's quite always the thing that, you can do so many good things, but once you do a bad thing, it will always be just in your register. Somehow, people will always remember. It definitely depends on what it is, but it's quite fucked up. It is really fucked up. Parents should come in pairs. Raising your children is demanding, and it is easy for one parent to make a mistake. Another parent helps cover for the other and limit overreactions. Peterson acknowledges that single parents have an admirably difficult life, but we shouldn't pretend that all family forms are equally good. I don't know, I guess there are a lot of people who just had a single mom or single dad or whatsoever, and they got raised very, very well. It definitely also depends on, how your parent is thinking and what values, what they pursue and what goals they pursue, how they are living their life, what they have been told as they were children or child. Does this even make any difference? A little bit. A little tiny bit. Now the music again. I guess this time actually in front of my fucking window. But yeah. Understanding your own capacity for anger and revenge. If you don't discipline your child, resentment will build. A vicious cycle can result where you tolerate your child but punish them later. For example, don't show them attention, which then breeds vengeance. It's Vengeance. I don't know how to pronounce it. And resentment, which then gives fewer opportunities to develop the child. I see. I really see. This was it with rule 5. And the next rule is something I totally enjoy and something I totally like to go through because it is pretty fucking true. It is pretty fucking true that this next rule is very important. And I do understand that the author actually had to put it into the book. He had to. I guess he really had to, because it's something I often see. It totally is something I really often see in people. And which is, or actually the rule is called putting your house in order. And if I remember correctly, and I guess I do, the author just talks about if you're actually doing everything that you can. A lot of people say, okay, I've done everything that I've could and whatsoever, but nothing worked out, nothing worked, and whatever. But the problem is they didn't do anything they could have. They have done a lot. I really don't want to just say they didn't, but I did not do anything or everything actually. It is but actually just, I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I see so many things that other people don't see. I'm not talking about I'm a superhero or some shit like this, but maybe it's just because I'm thinking about these things a lot, and I'm just surrounding myself with these things a lot, that I'm actually able to see more and maybe even better. I don't fucking know. I do not want to say that I'm supernatural or some shit like this, but just really reminds me on the series Supernatural. I haven't seen many series, just very, very few ones. And I just really have to tell you something. I often think about, and I often also tell other people and whatsoever, that they should, do more work, they should do more smart things, and they should do more this and that and, whatsoever. But I changed my mind. I really changed my mind. If there's somebody out there, and if you're also such a person, if you really just like to watch or just, watch, I guess, yeah. If you just really like to watch Game of Thrones the whole fucking time, really, when you come home, you start, then you go to bed, then you just work, come home, start, and so on, and so on, and so on. I do not hate it. I really have nothing against it if you're happy. If you're really happy with your life, in this way, if you're just really extremely happy with what it is, with what you're doing, with how it is, with everything in your life, you can do whatever you want. I do not fucking care. But if you are unhappy and still you're just, watching Netflix all the fucking time, or Game of Thrones, or whatever it will be. Is Game of Thrones even on Netflix? I don't know. I think, is there Sky on in other countries? I don't know. Because in my country, I think it is actually only on Sky, which is I don't fucking know. But if you're really unhappy with your life and you're still just watching series and doing nonsense all the fucking time, then I don't understand it. And then I really have to say, okay, do something. But if you're happy with everything, and if you're just really happy with your life, sometimes clearly I'm also not happy sometimes, even though I'm just doing a lot and I'm just whatsoever. But if you're not happy, you should totally do something against it. This is just what I want to say. So rule 6, put your house in order. There is inevitable suffering in life. People are born unequally in ability and attributes. Disasters strikes unpredictably, like cancer, a car accident, a mass layoff. You never get quite exactly what you want. Life is an unjust joke. It just seems to be so negative. But I guess there will be just the other perspective about life as well. Like, life is pretty fucking good. I really love life. Even though I also do have to say that I understand why people don't like it. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of negative shit. There's a lot of fucked up things. I do not want to say, no, there's nothing like this. There totally is. There really totally is. So I understand. But I think it's totally about perspective. If you're just only seeing the negative shit, it's totally clear that you will be focusing on it and that this will be the only thing that you're seeing. But if you're also just focusing a little or only on the positive things, it is totally clear that you will only see the positive things and not even recognize the negative shit. One response to this: anger at the university, or if you're religious, at your God. So one response to this is anger at the university or to God. More extremely, this stretches into misanthropic thinking and veganance. What even this is, I don't fucking know. Oh, I see. So veganance is the one word that I just spelled before, to express the outrage and spite the universe or God. Peterson argues this underlay the beliefs of the Columbine killers who sought to punish those who had wronged them. Yeah, or they just thought they wronged them. but there's still potential for redemption, to learn from misfortune and to good despite it. Many who are abused with their parents in turn abuse their own children, which is totally which happens often. Yeah, if just parents have gotten abused in their childhood as well, chances are pretty, I don't know if they're high, but they eventually, I think they're a little bit higher, they eventually will also just abuse their children, which is fucked up. But most choose not to. Before blaming the universe for your misfortunes, first consider, what personal responsibility did you have in your fortune? Did you do everything within your power to improve your situation, or were you a passive accomplice to your sabotage? Very important to ask yourself this. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, which was a Russian soldier in World War II, so from the Soviet Union actually, he was then arrested and imprisoned by his own people. He got cancer, his misfortunes seemed out of his control. Then he wrote the Gulag Archipelago. If you don't know, gulags are actually the same thing as concentration camps. Quite. So people were killed there basically in the Soviet Union. So concentration camps were in quite Europe, if you're willing to say this, but some parts of Russia are also in Europe. But yeah, they were in Poland and in Germany, and I think in the Czech Republic as well. I don't remember. I don't know exactly. I know there's some in Poland and some in Germany totally. This is totally clear, but the gulags were in the Soviet Union or in Russia quite. At great risk to himself to expose Soviet prison camps and the flaws of Lenin's thinking. He realized his unquestioning support of the Communist Party contributed directly to his misery, and he decided to correct his mistake. Look at it this way. If your suffering is your own fault, then you can actually do something about it. The thing there is, if you're making a lot of things your fault, you can do something about it. Which means that if you're blaming somebody else, you're not the one who just had the fault or just made the mistake or whatsoever, and therefore you also can't do anything about it. You just actually have to wait for the other person to correct the mistake until you're happy, until everything is good, the situation is well, and whatsoever. It doesn't work. Therefore, actually just blame yourself quite often, even though this is something a lot of people say you should not do. Just every single person outside the self-development sphere or space say you should never ever just blame yourself for some things that you didn't do. But it makes sense if you do, even though it maybe wasn't your fault, if you just, act like it was. Even though I just have to say, don't be extreme with it, Like, there are some things you do not have. You didn't make, just, it isn't your fault. You're not to the person to be blamed, But often you can do it, If a car accident happened, you could also be like, okay, I should have been a lot slower. I should have just watched and saw the other car just crashing into me. I could have done something. And then it is basically about you, just doing something about it. But I don't know, it would be nice to hear a psychologist's approach on that, just to really see how they are thinking about it, if it is good to just blame yourself more often or just blame everybody else but not yourself. But yeah, if it's entirely the universe's fault, then the reality itself is flawed and you're perpetually doomed. Which worldview would you rather espouse? Peterson argues lack of preparation is a sin. When times are good, we get complacent and forget our commitments and responsibilities. And then when disaster strikes, we omit our personal responsibility in causing it. We may learn our lessons and soldier on, but inevitably we forget, and so the cycle repeats. Which is, at my point of view, also the same thing with being or with appreciating how your life is at the moment. A lot of people don't, because they do not have the perspective and they do not just think about it, that it could be way worse. Way, way, way worse. You know, I'm very happy that I'm just healthy right now. I have been ill quite often. I'm not right now. And I'm very fucking thankful and happy for that. I'm so grateful for that. Because I hate it. I hate when I can't do what I'm willing to do. If it's sports, if it's recording, if it's being on my highest peak of performing, I don't like it. I'm very grateful also that I'm here, that I'm having the possibility to talk to you, to talk to the people, to talk to the internet and tell them great things about what I've seen, what other people have seen, what other people write on the internet. It is so fucking great. It really is. I deeply love it, and I just really wish you, and I really want you to be grateful as well. I really want you to just look at life and see the positive shit and not the negative ones. Just really see. So why would you not? But yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting me talk to you. And this is actually the end of the episode. Yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success, which is actually my somehow mantra or something. So I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. But still remember how you're going to be remembered. And therefore you might actually give something to people or to the world, even though they haven't given you something. Just before or afterwards, or they will never ever give you something. Give to the people. It makes you happy. It makes them happy. Everyone wins. And yeah, with this being said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Maybe you also watch the other episode that I'm maybe even uploading today. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll do. Maybe I don't do. I just have to learn some shit for school as well. And yeah, I wish you the best.